Well, okay. I'm just going to say a few things here about this subject because I know I don't know enough to be, uh, a judged, an expert of any kind, or even that well informed. Uh, but I just want to talk about a few things that strike me as odd about what's going on right now. Um, so there, this major attack has taken place against Israel from Hamas. Um, they or broached or breached. They breached the border, right? That's how you'd say it. Breached the border to Israel. Came in and attacked, savagely attacked. From what we're hearing, what the reports are, they murdered hundreds of civilians, took some hostage, raped some women. And it was just a completely grisly and horrific attack, and a strange one. They came in on like hand gliding devices. Um, I just wanted to just say a few things about what's been going on over the last couple of days. Uh, I know everybody's got their theories, and I get kind of annoyed with everybody with their theories. Everybody speaking like they know, like everybody being a know it all. Like, we don't really know. We don't really know. Okay, um, I don't know. You know what's actually going on. Um, but I want to just talk about a few things that I think are strange. Like, Israel's defense. They're incredibly sophisticated, highly well funded, um, and I mean I think they're probably second to none, probably in the world as far as just knowing how to secure their borders, how to protect themselves from attack. Uh, their whole existence has been a history of living in the midst of people who don't want them there. Um, I'm not taking a stand here. I'm not saying Israel yes. I'm not saying Israel yay or Israel nay. I know there's a lot of people out there with very very uh, hot opinions, hot takes on Israel. But I don't want to. I don't want to indulge in that here. You know, there's a lot that can be said, and there's a lot that can validly be said, but about whether whether they even should exist or not, how they've treated the Palestinians in Gaza, and so forth. Okay, um, and of course it's all wrapped in with the JQ, which gets people off track. In my estimation, in my experience, it immediately gets people off track because suddenly, instead of talking about the issue, you're talking about uh, the influence, the outsized influence, or a disproportionate influence of a particular ethnicity. Not that that's not a subject that's worthy of being talked about, but it's like it's let's just stick to the subject here. Okay, so what is the subject? Um, and I'm going to say what I'm going to say is very simple. I'm going to keep it short. Uh, but I just want to register this uh, here. You know, since this has been compared to Israel's 9/11, and y'all know if you've been watching me at all, that I am a 9/11 official story skeptic. Uh, and one of many reasons why that is so, is simply that, well, when it came to let's just say the story of the Pentagon, the idea that the most heavily fortified base in the world would allow itself to let something come in from the sky, fly over their airspace, and crash headlong into it. The idea that they would let that happen, to me, beggars belief, or that would just be an oversight or a mistake. That beggars belief. Okay, let's just keep it simple. Let's just stick with the Pentagon. There's lots of moving parts. It gets very complicated. But let's just stick with the Pentagon as an example. Okay, Pentagon, heavily fortified. If you'd think if anything comes close to flying over their airspace, that they immediately perk up and they the alarms go off and people run to their stations and prepare to open fire. That's just like what you would expect. So the notion that they just that somehow they just allowed whatever it was, whether it was a plane or something else, of course, I'm not going to get into that right now, that they would just allow it to take place. That there would be that kind of oversight. When they knew the object was coming, they saw it coming, and they did nothing to protect themselves from it. That beggars belief to me. And I think in the same way, there's something strange to me about the idea that this attack, and I'm not saying that the people who took part in the attack didn't take part in the attack. I'm not saying the people who were killed weren't killed. And I'm not saying that the atrocities that they are saying were committed, I'm not saying they weren't committed. I'm not saying any of that. I'm not, that to make that kind of step, to take that kind of step is actually a leap. You need a lot more evidence before. And I've heard, plenty of people who question the official story, just go too far sometimes and just assume, oh, well, nobody, those weren't real bodies, or this was all, a drill, or that, they were all crisis actors or whatever. I'm just going to posit that these attacks actually happened, and that these people were aggressed against and raped and murdered and kidnapped, and all those terrible things actually happened. The simple thing that I'm sticking with here is, just like what happened at the Pentagon, why that doesn't add up. Why, and why you don't even have to look that deeply into it to say this doesn't add up, which is the case with a lot of things with the official story of 9/11. But in this case, it's just a simple question. You've got this nation that is hyper vigilant about protecting its borders, hyper vigilant about with all the latest equipment, with every kind of technology and with every kind of intelligence that could possibly be gathered, and lots of resources behind it. I don't think anyone would deny that is so. That this is a sophisticated operation that they've got over there, that they've got going over there, that they would just fail so miserably at seeing, and that this kind of attack would happen, that their border would be so that their border would be um, that the enemy would be able to steal over their border in such mass, in such a great mass, and wreak such havoc, without the big guns coming out and them immediately just nailing these people, just shooting them down immediately. To me, that beggars belief. Just like the Pentagon, the official Pentagon story beggars belief. So that's all that I'm willing to say right now, and I don't even know if I'm gonna ever say more than that, because I don't even know if I'm gonna. We'll see where this all goes, in the coming days and weeks and months. But just think about it. Just keep it simple, like just keep it simple, and ask, how was this done? How did they manage to, just like, how did that passport manage to fall out of a plane that got that was exploding, and land on the New York City street below and get recovered by an FBI agent. How how was the Pentagon aggressed upon so with such temerity, with such you know just how was that allowed to happen in the most fortified building in the world, and in this case probably the most fortified country in the world? How was this allowed to happen? That's what makes me think there's something more to the story. And that's all I'm going to say for now. Those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Please leave them below. Uh, God, one thing I don't want, well, it knocked this out of the headlines and knocked that out of the headlines. I think that's kind of, I don't know, this whole take of, well, they needed to get these stories out of the headlines so that this happened, so they made this happen. I kind of like, that's kind of, to me, that seems kind of weak. I don't want to, like, if that's where you're inclined to go, then I'm really not interested in the whole, well, they want to dominate the news. They want to make us forget about Biden's, all of Biden's problems. No, I mean, people aren't going to forget about that Biden is a senile old man with a cokehead son, and he's corrupt and all that stuff. That's not going to be forgotten. So I request that you not go. I kindly request that you not go there with this. Well, they're just trying to knock these things out of the headlines. I'm just not feeling that. I just don't. I just think that's a little silly. But beyond that, I welcome your input. Thanks for watching.